So after a weekend of bad decisions, I tried to squeeze into my jeans.
And it reminded me of something. Aer Lingus trying to shove an Airbus A321neo onto transatlantic routes. It technically fits, but is anyone really comfortable? Let's talk about how Aer Lingus is working narrowbody magic across the Atlantic.
Or just a tight squeeze in the skies.
I'm really looking forward to today. The first thing is that I haven't been to Terminal 2 for a long time. I think I've only arrived there, but I've never departed. And the second thing is this is a long haul product on a short haul route, and that's exciting. After sleeping so well that even Sleeping Beauty would be jealous, I was woken up by a Boeing 777 landing out the window. Indulging in a bit of freshening up, a spritzing, fluffing and maybe even hair combing, just in case the Aer Lingus lounge lacks showers, before finally dragging myself over to the bus over to Terminal 2.
Oh hey there. Today's flight is brought to you by, well, you.
You see, your support on Patreon and YouTube keeps these reviews flying high, without any corporate turbulence. And it helps to fuel honest, independent reviews. And maybe even the occasional bag of Inflight peanuts.
So if you'd like the channel to remain airborne, then head over to our Patreon or support us on YouTube. So now it's off to Terminal 2, which was the original terminal here at Heathrow. Opened in 1955, and 1969 when Terminal 1 opened, it was renamed Terminal 2.
And after a $4 billion modernisation project, it was affectionately renamed the Queen's Terminal, after Queen Elizabeth II, and is primarily used by Star Alliance Airlines. I'm here at Terminal 2 with plenty of time, but I still made sure that I checked in online yesterday for today's flight. Now, please don't skip this part because it might prevent you from making a big mistake, and when booking this flight, make sure you select what is currently the 9:50 departure and check that it states quite clearly that it's an Airbus A321neo, just by clicking on the Flight Details button. And that you select the price or option of airspace, otherwise you're just overspending on economy seats with lounge access included. If the seat map once you get to the third page doesn't look like this, then you're probably just on the Airbus A320 in economy. It still looks lovely in the shamrock green livery, but the experience is completely different, though as some joke, Aer Lingus economy is basically just a posh polite version of Ryanair. I won't linger on the check-in because I have no luggage, but other benefits for the extra pull on your purse strings are the dedicated check-in desk and then off to fast-track security, which is a nice little extra.
That was probably the most exciting bag check I've ever had. See, on the other side there was a lady crying, and naturally see someone crying, you wonder, are they carrying something suspicious? And I've watched too much Banged Up Abroad.
For anyone who hasn't seen it, it's basically the story of passengers who thought smuggling something illegal was a good idea and then got caught. Hoping that lady finds peace in her life, I'm heading into the pleasant comfort of the Aer Lingus lounge. I have to say it exceeded my expectations. It might not wow a frequent flyer, but there are plenty of seats, a sensible layout, and while some views are a bit segmented thanks to the sunshades, it's still a very comfortable spot to relax. Somewhere in the world, it's time for something a little bit strong, but I'm more a kind of orange juice in the morning kind of person. I've also managed to find a good spot to see planes, well, as best as you can see them through these shades, to relax for the next 40 minutes.
That's a surprisingly nice lounge, but given they don't have any long haul flights, it wasn't overly busy, which is nice, and there's lots of different seating areas. The food was a little bit basic, but they're going to feed me on board, so.
While looking at the planes out the window, I had a question in my mind, which resulted in a Google search. I had myself wondering, in a terminal with so many Star Alliance airlines, why did Aer Lingus choose Terminal 2? When their owner IAG, which also operates British Airways, whose home is Terminal 5, are just a skip and a jump the other side. Apparently the decision was made because of the modern facilities and the shorter walking distances, particularly useful for passengers. And this also came about because of the reallocation of different airlines after the closure of Terminal 1. Finding the gate, please excuse the less than stellar footage of our ride to sunny Dublin. Apparently Heathrow's wind and cleaning budget doesn't stretch quite as far as the runways. And with that hopefully much more clear than the windows, here's today's journey map. Today's extremely short flight even includes a meal, despite being only 1 hour and 25 minutes, crossing the 288 miles over to Dublin's Terminal 2. Paying for airspace can be good value. Alongside 20 kilograms of checked baggage, front row seats, standby for an early flight, lounge access and fast track security, it also includes priority boarding, which might just be an extra 10 minutes in what is already a very seriously comfortable experience. And if a trip to the Maldives is out of reach, airspace could be that sweet little treat for your significant other. Just saying. Anyway, let's dive into the seat map. Some seats are better than others. Rows 3 and 5 boast the delightfully named throne seat because they take up the space of 2 seats in rows 2, 4 and 6. Not that those seats are bad, but you might have to awkwardly step over a stranger, praying you don't trip, lock eyes in a really uncomfortably cinematic moment.
So this is the Thomson Aero Vantage seat. It's got 22 inches of width and it's 77 inches in the falling. It is pretty private and it's also quite plush because of this side tape. It's almost like a throne seat.
All the seats are dressed in a very fetching green fabric, which is a nod to the flag, which is also green. I appreciate it's also orange, but EasyJet has that colour sorted. And don't worry if you end up in the doubles, as there's a solid divider between the 2 seats, although this ends at eye level. I don't need to worry though about this in the comfort of 5 Alpha, even if the ceiling height of the surround could have been a little bit higher. But in the flat mode, which we'll get to later, it's not even a consideration. I can't take my eyes off that huge white table to my left hand side, which will certainly come in handy for not only food, drinks, chargers and an amenity kit, although there's not one on today's flight, with a reasonable amount of room in the footwell, although it is pinched by the 2 seats in front. Seat back pocket, seat controls to my right, a universal plug socket and a storage cupboard I forgot to film. This is such a huge upgrade on a route to Dublin, and something their sister company British Airways just has to look across the room and say, we wish we had this. In a slightly unusual twist, perhaps similar to European Airlines, there wasn't a welcome drink, no pillow, no blanket, although I wasn't expecting this, and we didn't even get the safety video. But the charm and the upbeat attitude of the crew is enough to win me over. So let's just pretend. With 2021 far behind us, I suspect they might be making a new one. Let's hope. Now it's time to sit back, relax and enjoy the takeoff. I know I will from this extremely comfortable seat. I do love a good movie while I'm eating at 35,000 feet, which would be wonderful on this very vibrant and crisp 16-inch HD display. Usually it would be a shame that they didn't provide any headphones, except you can pair your own using Bluetooth. It's just unfortunate again, I guess, because they don't have a license for Europe, that the content was extremely limited, so I just listened to my own music. Never mind, at least there's a beautiful view out the window, and we barely have 50 minutes in the air before we begin to land. If you're expecting a hot meal, you might be a bit disappointed, but you have to remember this is a very short flight.
It's a bit of a snack. You do get like this nice cookie, sandwich, and don't make the mistake of saying an English tea because it's not, it's an Irish tea.
I guess you could call this afternoon tea in the sky, with the options for crisps and a good looking chicken and traditional herb onion stuffing sandwich, which I thoroughly enjoyed. With time vanishing, just like the Wi-Fi signal right when you need it the most, I can't leave this flight without seeing what the flat mode is like. Well, having flown Malaysian, which is the same product, I have a good idea. Between those two large side tables, the seat doesn't look that impressive, but you have to remember this occupies the space of half the plane's internal width. Honestly, even without a blanket and a pillow, I could have happily slept here, and not just because I've been up since 6 AM.
You probably notice it's the same product as Malaysia Airlines. It's not the widest, so if you're side sleeping, it's probably pretty good. If you're lying on your back, maybe not so much. It is very private and it is quite cosy, so I think it's pretty good.
Heading to the onboard bathroom, which quite honestly is as good as it gets in terms of plane design, I have to keep reminding myself that this is a long haul plane on a short haul route. But even so, I'm buzzing and genuinely enjoying the product and the service. Back in the comfort of this very plush seat, I've found even more buttons, the sort that make you wonder if you're adjusting the footrest or secretly summoning a cabin crew. I'm genuinely tempted to try this or the Airbus A330 on a longer route, having enjoyed today's flight more than I thought I would. Out the window, the green and gold patchwork of Ireland is sliding into view, which means it's time to land and then embark on the briefest blink and you miss it montage tour of Dublin.
That's been done. Thank you so much, guys. Cheers. Bye bye bye. Bye. So I'm just on the coach, the posh one, on the way into Dublin city centre. It's €15 for a day return. If you can't tell from my smile, that was a really good flight. And now it's time for the conclusion. The cabin crew were really happy from the start. Even at the end, like, they saw me filming and they knew I was a YouTuber. They said the reason why they noticed was because when I got on board, my face lit up with a smile, and I even got to meet the pilots, which was pretty cool. But the plane in general is just really good. I know it's a narrow body, so some people might not want to fly it. The seat's really comfortable. It's maybe not the widest. The food is fine. You could have a full hot meal, but it's a really quick service. If you're wondering what's happening with the sandwich, yes, I didn't actually eat the flight, and yes, I said it was really good, but look, it's chicken and stuffing. When is it not?
I'm going to sit and enjoy my sandwich and the sun. And I wish you safe travels and the luck of the Irish.